Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about two young adult books that tackle the American dream beautifully, with elegance and grace, and complications and nuance, and amazing storytelling. First book, Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. It is a sequel to The Diviners. It's in the Diviners series, but I have not read the first book, and you don't have to either. It's a great standalone book all by itself. It takes place in New York City in the 1920s, and unlike most young adult books that take place in that time, there are actually people of color in it, and they're brilliant people and full human beings. It's awesome. They're also protagonists. It's a great book. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of cool magic, there's a lot of weird scenarios, there's a lot of amazing history, and all these characters are moving around this very beautifully rendered version of New York City. They go into the tunnels, they explore different famous parts of the city. Libba Bray has done her homework. There's a lot of research that went into this, but it's beautifully weaved into the narrative. It never feels preachy, it never feels info dumpy. It's just a great story with lots of cool stuff. So in the midst of all these stories that are happening and interwoven characters and everything else, there are these moments in between of total poetry where she looks out kind of across the American landscape and thinks about what different people are doing all over the country. It's beautifully written. And not talking about magic that literally takes us into dream realms and thinks deeply about dreams that we have in the American dream. She actually chops up the idea of the American dream and what that really means, and forces us as the readers to think a little bit more deeply and more sharply about what it means to dream as a nation, to think about the things that we all desire, when really there are all these different divides between us. It's a beautiful and deep book with lots of creepy parts too, which I like. Next, All American Boys by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Keeley. This book kicks ass. Why? That's a great question. So this is a book that a lot of people would call an issues book. This book is much more than an issues book. It's a great story with very vivid characters, and it also says something deep. Brendan Keeley and Jason Reynolds sat down together following the Zimmerman verdict and decided that they needed to write a book to young people that was about police violence in the United States. They do it from the point of view of a black boy and a white boy. Brendan Keeley, who's white, writes the white boy point of view. Jason Reynolds, who's black, writes the black boy's point of view. And they both are witness to and sort of a part of this moment of police violence. The white boy witnesses it and knows the cop that's involved in the beating of the black character, Rashad. Both of the characters are supremely well developed. They're so alive. They're so much more than just figureheads or symbols or anything else. Rashad is an artist, he's an ROTC kid, you know, he's a friend, he's a brother, he's a son, he's all these different things, and you see the world around him so clearly in his community and his struggle following the incident that occurs in the beginning of the book. On the other hand, Quinn, the white character, is honestly a character that I have been waiting for in YA fiction for a long time. We see a lot of white writers writing characters of color to varying degrees of success. What we don't see a lot of, and we see a lot of conversations about writing the other, what we don't see a lot of is white writers writing about whiteness and what it means to be white and the power and the privilege around that, the destructive effects of that and the psychological effects of that, which is a fascinating conversation and which would make for great literature. And this book proves it. We have two very alive, very human characters confronting the same incident of violence from different perspectives and taking ownership of where they stand on it and their perspectives, thinking about who they are in the world and the power structures around them and how those are different. Not a book that's trying to convince us, you know, all lives matter or we're all the same or any of that bullshit, but a book that really wants to look honestly at race in America, which is a rare gift, especially in a young adult book. This is a powerful and beautiful story that needs to be told, and it needs to be told in the way that they have chosen to tell it. It's also about two people coming both of age, but also coming into themselves in a time of protest. What does it mean to protest? What does it mean to stand up? The choices and the emotions behind taking to the streets and having your voice heard. All of these things are things that we need to talk about, especially in young adult literature, especially in a time where the Black Lives Matter movement, which is run essentially by young people, is so big and so important and calling attention to something so powerful in the nation today. So when I say that this is the book that the world needs right now, I really mean that. All American Boys, get it. Those are the two books of the day, the week, the month. They both just came out this summer. This one literally just came out. I highly recommend both of them. That's really it. I don't want to say anything else. That's it. Buy these motherfuckers. Ooh. Trying to film here. You know? You can do it.
You know this is all good.